Welcome aboard, folks. I'm Steven Malkowich, your captain on this adventure called Ship of Fools. I'm a fool. Lucky for you, I'm not sailing solo. Join me and a boatload of people, all just trying to make sense of this crazy world. It's a fabulous mess, and you're invited. In keeping with our tradition of the Ship of Fools podcast, where wit meets wisdom, I would like to welcome you, Enrico. And this just proves that this is this discussion, conversation, and this podcast is totally, completely based on my curiosity. And Enrico, I want you to say your last name. Fioretti. Enrico Fioretti. You are the first animator that I've ever met in my life. And I made a point of it when we met. And I said, I want to have you on my podcast because everyone has a story, but I have a curious mind. So we met briefly before, but to begin with, what resonated with me when we sat down and had a cup of coffee, you told me you had said that you had grown up in a small town in Italy.
Yeah.
Let's begin there.
Okay. So I grew up nobody knows about that place.
Say the name.
It's called Veneto. It's like a 8,000, maybe 9,000 people village. It's about 1 hour from Venice, northeast of Italy. It's a simple life, very countryside. I loved it. Like, it's super safe. I played in the streets, like normal old-time kids that nowadays they don't do anymore. I grew up there. I studied in the city. There was a slightly bigger village, like 50,000 people, small town. My family is all from there. Like, that I know, I have probably one uncle that is a bit further away, but the whole nucleus of my family is from there. They grew up there. My grandparents were from there. And I'm the black sheep of the family that just went crazy and decided to go everywhere.
How did you... I don't even know how. I just got a brief description from Edwin, and I told you this before about the life of an animator and the industry. But first of all, how did you get involved in or find this path? Like, you're living in a small village in Italy.
Yeah, back then there was not much internet or not much stuff, so like you get inspired by things you see on TV. Like probably my age, when I was 6, I went to see Jurassic Park at the movies, and it was like, whoa, amazing! Like, how did they make these kind of things? And then it stayed there in the back of my mind. I was 6, But after that, when I was in high school, I started to see, it's actually a job. Like, people make movies, they do monsters, creatures, and stuff like that. Like, it sounds cool for me. Like, how can I do that? And back then in Italy, there wasn't much. Like, all the big schools were like here in Canada or like in North America, and I couldn't afford to go there. And it was very far away. So I found like this little master. It was like 6 months to learn how to use Maya, with the software they use to make movies, like 3D movies. Okay. I did 6 months. In those 6 months, I get a bit of everything, like how to cover all the aspect of the job.
And what town was
it? It was in close by Verona in Italy. And after that, like in that class, they took us to the US in California, in LA, San Francisco, to see the big studios, the big companies. And I remember like going there, I was 19. I probably was the youngest in the whole class.
Had you ever traveled before, like outside of Italy before?
I did a couple of trips here and there, but it wasn't my first solo, pretty much trip.
Had you been to the United States?
No, it was my first time. I wasn't speaking English at all, but I was like, I need to go.
You go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was big. It was.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was being in a movie for me. It was like great, and I remember meeting these people that work in this industry, and we were like, they made the movie that I grew up with. For me, there was like, if you're a Christian, meeting the Pope, you're like, what?
Well, that'd be like I'm Catholic.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we went to Rome,
Exactly. With the big guys, like, whoa.
this is it. This is the show.
Yeah, exactly. You go in the offices, like, you see all these things that they made, and it's like, I remember seeing these. I remember seeing that, like, and it was like 3 hours with my mouth open. It's like, how? And I was like, now I'm gonna grab a chain. I'm gonna grab a guy. I'm gonna chain with this guy like forever, and I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna stay in this office and learn as much as possible. I didn't do that because that's part is illegal. What I did is, like, I was speaking with a couple of guys, stay in contact with one that was working at Industrial Light and Magic, which is a big company in San Francisco, the George Lucas company. Came back to Italy, sent a couple of emails, and I say, hey, by the way, is there anyone in your office like is keen to teach animation to me? Like, they say, I don't know, I'll let you know. Months pass, I don't know anything about him. At some point I receive an email, say, hey, I spoke with you, like, about you with a guy here. He's a Japanese guy that does this for Japanese students, but he can make an exception for you. I say, wow, really? That's good. So I was like 3 or 4 in the morning for me in Italy, waking up, meeting with this guy. I wasn't talking like much because my English was very poor. So I was just saying, yep. And we studied for about like probably a year or so, like in this kind of nighttime classes.
So you were taking a class.
It was like an official class. It was like on Skype, you know, like you meet there like for 1 hour. He was teaching me stuff, like showing me how to do, like tell me to exercise it a bit. But he was a very good guy, one of the best that I know. And I remember studying with him like for pretty much a year. Then I assembled my first CV, which in animation is like a demo reel, basically a 1 minute video of the best you can do. And with that,
what was that of?
It's just a couple of little exercises, or like a walk cycle, like a puppet was walking, a guy that was picking up a box. So like very simple exercise to see like, okay, I know how to operate the software, and I have a sense of like how to animate things properly, because one of the most difficult things in animation is like it needs to feel real, like the weight and heavy things need to feel heavy, which is not like in 3D space or anything. It is not like it's
So just explain for my own understanding. Are you like when you're doing animation, when you started in the, like, are you doing it on a pad? Like, how do you like?
It's like, yeah.
Are you drawing on?
No, we are not like.
What do you do? Like,
there are several type of animation. There is 2D animation, which is the classic drawy Disney style animation, like which is the magical one. I don't do that. There is 3D animation. Is like basically the computer is for what I can describe it like we have kind of a puppet in 3D in the world, like in 3D world, and you can move all the parts of the body, and you record the position of every part of the body in a specific time. That's the technical part, and then you keep adding positions, and at the end of the day you have an animation. Like the computer plays out all the position because it remembers where the position are. And
so, but you're not actually keyboarding this though.
No, you have like you can do it with a tablet as well and play a bit, but you can do it with the mouse. Like you say, okay, the arm at this position stay here, and like 10 frames afterwards is going to be here. The computer is going to interpolate, and if you want an extra complex thing, you can add.
I'm going to ask you some stupid questions that there is no stupid questions, because I've never, like I said, I have never met somebody that does animation in my life. So that's why I'm going, I'm asking these questions. So like you said there's the 2D animation, which is like the cartoons.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the 3D is like the Avatar kind of stuff.
Exactly. Correct.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had a designation for the 2D. Those guys
there's too much for me. Like I don't know how to draw that good, and for that long of a time. The computer is pretty good to like understand the in between. So
I when I was researching you and I looked at your demo, I was going, holy shit. I looked at I went like, this is like really good shit. Like this is like I'm going like, how do you do that? Like it's almost like that's movie quality.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So there you go.
Yeah. That's like at the end of the day, like you start like this with simple, like maybe you start with TV shows, like something more simple, maybe for kids. They are like, they don't care much about quality, man. Like it's about performance, be happy bits, like these kind of things. But then if you want to step into movies, you need to add quality on whatever you do. You need to be a good observer. Like what's reality, how people move, how creatures that do not exist move.
So would it be safe to say that it's fairly nuanced?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
like
It is super like it can take months to do like a few seconds of a movie, because first of all, it's up to like interpretation, like how many people can have a different opinion. Since you need to respond to a chain of commands, your supervisor to keep the team at the same level. Then there is the client supervisor. Then there is the director that gives the opinion. So maybe you get the yes from the supervisor. Then you get maybe from the other guys. So you say, okay, let's go back and rework. And then you work up your chain. And when the director is happy, you're gonna get your pretty work in the movie. Okay. Hopefully, if they don't cut it at the end. But.
Okay, let's circle back. So you're learning how to do this over Skype.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that lasts for about a year.
Yeah, that's about a year. Then I prepared this DVD. Back then, there was no much, so I prepared this DVD. I made a lot of copies, and I pretty much sent it to the whole Europe. Everyone. Nobody replied, of course, because the last one of the the last wheel abandoned there. But one day, I received a message on MSN. You remember the old school stuff, like here for, and it was a guy that say, "Hey, so you want to come work with me?" And he was in the other side of Italy, in Genoa, which is the other side, northwest. And I say, "Yeah, why not?" Like, never been there. I was like probably almost 20 or like, let's say 19, 20. And I say, let's go. Like I was working with my parents at in a store. I quit right away. I say, hey, I'm going. I say, okay. I just went, like, I think it was a Thursday, and on a Monday I was over there.
So you just drove there? Or
my parents.
Your parents
drove? Yeah. Like, and they say, where are you going to sleep? I don't know. So they gave me, I remember they paid me for like a 3 nights hotel there. And it was 3 nights. I had keep messaging everyone, I need a room to stay. And I found this guy, and at the end of the day, I found a place to was like in 3 days. Thinking about this now, it's like, what was I crazy or drunk? Like completely. But yeah, that's what I did, and that's worked out. And I worked with this guy for initially for 6 months. It was for free, I didn't get paid. But for me, I was like, yep, that's animation, that's work. It's good for me.
What was the work?
It was a little short movie that went into a festival. It was a cartoon.
Okay.
And I had to do very simple things because there was a team of people working, professionals, and there was me. Okay. That's the last one. I just very, very little things like shadows or little chunk of the movie. But for me, it was like, I'm doing animation. It's great. It's great. And after that opened the door to stay in the same company for a paid contract. And I stayed a year and a half there. So I spent 2 years in total in Genoa. I was living alone. It was good. It was like, I'm doing animation with these people. But the funny thing is, in my mind, I had the experience of LA, San Francisco, big company. Say, yes, I need to go there. So I remember after 1 or 2 months working there, I updated my DVD and I started to send email to everyone hey, now I have experience. 2 months. So it's nothing. Now you have experience. 2 months. I know how to work. Nobody replied, of course. So after these 2 years of contract that I remember 6 months updating and say, hey, now 6 months of experience, 1 year of experience, start doing these kind of things. After the 2 years, I got a call in a company in Belgium. Liège is a very, very small city in the south part of Belgium. I remember the interview, my English was still poor. So
you're you're basically learning English as you go along, as you're learning how to become an animator.
I remember doing the interview, I remember the questions were pretty simple, and I was just like, yep. And I got the job for whatever reason.
You agreed to everything.
I agreed to everything, whatever terms they offer me. Want to be a slave? Yep. No problem for me. So I ended up being in Belgium, and I repeated the same pattern. I told my parents, I'm going to Belgium. Good. Where are you going to stay? I had no idea. So I went there, and I don't know how it wasn't a scam or anything. I found a room online, and I ended up, arriving in Belgium. It was late in the night. I knock on the door, and I say, and hopefully, luckily, this was a person. They was like, yeah, it's a room for you. It was little room for me. And I was like, okay, I arrived in Belgium, got a room, went to work, and I spent there some time. And it was was great. That was a bit better TV show, like with better quality.
So it was a regular. Was it what? Like,
it was still cartoons.
It was still cartoons.
Yeah, but it was a bit more realistic because we were little bugs doing like bugs things. Like it was a funny comedy cartoon with bugs. But for me, it was good. This is a step further. Like I'm happy. That's my life is always being
Little
like
step forward.
little step and try to be like. And then like my first experience outside Italy was like, okay, I'm ready for the next step or more achievable was like London, because London was making big movies. But I didn't get any job, any opening, and like.
So how long were you in you're in Belgium
for 9 months?
For 9 months.
Yes.
Okay, so this 9 months you're doing this
Just
cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Cartoon.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty funny. Like I think it's still good to watch. After that, I came back to Italy because the contract finished, and I got a call from a company in Glasgow,
Scotland.
I say, okay, now I feel confident with my English. Let's go. Remember arriving there in Glasgow. First day, I sat down with IT guy,
and
a proper Scot.
Speaking with a Scottish brogue accent.
Exactly. I remember like sitting here, he was explaining me stuff, making jokes, laughing, and I didn't understand anything. And it was like laughing at, like when he was laughing, I was laughing too. But I didn't get anything. When I get out, there are some colleagues and they say, like, did you understand what he said? Like, no, can you repeat everything? But it was so funny. And, slowly for me, everything was like, okay, a step further to go.
So did you get the job?
I got a job there, and I was making video games back then. I was making, little parts of video games, or like, it was for a video game called Disneyland Adventure. So it was like, well, big name for me. Okay. It was good.
Yeah.
So I did these little things, and for me, like, it was good. So good life, like, it was in the UK. For me, like, that's a step closer to the US. In my mind, it was always like, okay, progressing to LA or whatever it was. And I stayed there for a little bit. Then I came back to Italy. I got a few freelances because there was not much work to do. But it was not the best time of my life because, again, my mind was like, I need to get there. And
so how long were you in Scotland for?
5 or 6 months, which was the summertime, which was
okay.
Perfect. Like the day was like never ending. It was beautiful. It was sunny. Like I really enjoyed my time there. And I got to meet very good people. At the end of the day, this industry is very small. So like you end up working with the same people all over the place. And after that, I remember I got my first shot in a movie in Germany. I went in Munich.
So you're in Scotland, you go back to
I got away for a few months,
and then
just to I did some freelancing there, no big deal.
And somebody reaches out for you.
I sent my CV. I was constantly send this. Okay, look how much experience I'm getting. Look how much like I'm getting better. Nobody cares in the end of the day because you just send it. You need to send the things at the right time. Like, then I got the first shot to make a movie. It was a 3D movie. It was a Tarzan. It was for the German public, so it was like nobody knows about the movie. Here it's probably impossible to find. But it was good because it was in the studios in Munich. Munich is the Hollywood of Germany. They have a little studios set where they shoot all the movies there. And for me, it was good. They had like all the props from the Never-Ending Story. They shoot it there. So they have the big dragon. They have all the things. For me, like, wow, this like step closer.
Yeah.
I stayed there, I think 8 or 9 months, but it was good. Like they gave us a house, a car. For me, like, wow, that's good life. I mean, share with everyone else. Or like, it was my house and my car. Like, I just still a step closer to whatever I wanted to. And it was fun because I was living in Germany. Like I didn't speak any German at all, but got to meet different people, different experience, different culture. For as much as Munich was close home, it was like a 6-hour drive. But it was totally different for me. So like I loved it. I loved it every second. Then after that, I came back to Italy a bit, and I didn't like it at all. Like the mentality that I started to get outside Italy. Then you go back to your origins. It was in Milan, the job, which it was good. Like I had to stay close to my family and everyone. But for me, it was like, I saw myself getting happier and happier, not because the the workplace or anything, because like I saw myself going backwards. Like, no, it's not where I was supposed to go. So I kept sending, hey, look how good I'm getting. Like, look how my updated work and everything. And one day, I don't know how, I got a call from London, like a big company that make movies. And I did this interview, and and it wasn't my first interview in London. So I did it like, okay, yeah, I did the interview, good. After a week, I received like, hey, job offer, you want to come over?
So do they fly, like when you're doing these interviews,
they do it online.
Online.
Yeah.
So everything's online.
Yeah. Unless it's a huge company that's for a very high position, then they want to see you in person. It's all on like over the phone or like online.
Okay.
And I got a job offer in London. I was like, yeah, quit on the spot, whatever I was working. It's like, goodbye, guys. Yeah. See ya, bye.
Yeah.
Moved to London. I found an apartment, like same routine. You're like, I get to London, like, oh, where should I live? Like, where's the next bridge? I need to sleep under the bridge.
What was the project?
Godzilla. It was the Godzilla from 2013, so it was 2012 when I moved to London. And for me, it was like, I remember almost crying when I, like, the first morning I was sitting in a cafe in front of the office. I was looking at it like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe, like, for me, it was like, it's incredible. I remember entering, like, and everyone was so amazing for me. Like, oh, these people are working here. Like, I didn't, like, believe that I was there too.
Yeah.
Like, they have a movie theater inside to do, like, the review of the project. So whenever you do something, it was,
up on the big screen.
Exactly. They put it on the big screen. I wasn't used to all of this. Like, for me, it was like, so they're going to put my stuff there. I say, yeah, sure. We're going to, like, twice a day. Like, oh, no pressure, So you start to work. With this company, you start to work in this big project, and it's pretty good. And I remember that's another barrier, my English, like after getting good with Scottish people, understanding that, the next barrier was like, get in a room, total pitch black, and they talk to you. And I was used to see people to talking. I got to see like facial expression and everything. That's, even if I didn't understand the whole thing, like I could pretty much get it. Pitch black, you cannot do that. So like, and I had other people reply to me. Thank God they say they reply for me, but it was like another thing that I had to get over with my English. I never thought about like, oh yeah, I need to learn another language to do this kind of job. I just jump and do it.
Just kept on.
Yeah, and that's when you get to the big movies. They like everything you make is gonna be pretty much in a movie screen. So every single little detail is gonna be a very big details up there. Mm-hmm. And I started to do very little humans in this huge, camera shot to see the whole pretty much canyon or whatever. There was like little people walking. I did a lot of these little people. Say, wow, for me it was like good deal. But yeah. But it was the beginning. Then I got my first monster shots and everything, and I was so happy. I remember the biggest that I did. I worked so much, like late in the night. With my supervisor next to me, like helping me out. And I remember one day he come next to me and I say, I'm sorry. And I say, what happened? Did they cancel because that happened. They cut the movie, they canceled it. Did they cancel my thing? And I say, no, it's worse. I say, what can be worse than that? Pretty much they put my whole monster shot that I was so proud of it. They shrank it down. They put it in a screen, in a TV. There was like no shot with actors. There was this little TV. They put my shot on the TV. It was blurred. So only I knew what you. I'm the only one knowing what's happening there, but you cannot see in the movies. Like it's there, but it's not there. Like, and I cannot show it because you cannot.
You can't, and you can't even use that.
And no, exactly, because I can use the whole what the people see at the theater. At theater, not me. And so I know that's my first big shot is there hidden. Nobody knows about it. And I was like, shit. But it was so funny for me. It was like, it's an incredible experience. Seeing these kind of things back now is like, it's
crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's so nice. And I get to meet so nice people. Like, so very good.
How long was this? Was the Godzilla?
The Godzilla one was like 7-8 months, something like that. And then
And I would imagine you're still.
Yeah, exactly.
You're constantly.
I was like
trying to
hoping to be in a big company. I was with a good friend of mine. We got the job together pretty much. So we did the first project together. And at the end of the project, we say, "Oh, we're gonna put you into a different project." This guy went to another movie, and they put me on Interstellar. I say, "Oh, that's a pretty big deal."
Interstellar
is Nolan movie. It's a pretty big deal. sat down the first day of the project and say, oh, we just realized that we don't need people on this project on this specific task. Say, okay, what's going to happen? They say, oh, we send your information to other companies in London. Hopefully someone is going to hire you. And I say, okay. So I stayed a month doing nothing in Interstellar. That's why it's not on my CV, because I just played around with stuff. And I got hired by another company. It was like a few hundred meters next to that, because London, all the companies are there.
In the same district.
And I went to work on Hercules. Yes. And it was fun, like to work with a lot of, like battle horses and everything. So for me, it was like, okay, that's good. I had to do hyper-realistic horses because they need to blend with the real horses.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make the fake horses. So since nobody wants to kill horses in movies anymore, they need to put fake ones. So I guess I did fake horses. And it was fun. And it was a good push for my quality, because you have to be very, very...
So I'm going to ask you, maybe a stupid question here, but all along the way, when you're doing this work and you're learning it, you're a hired gun, so you always have to have, do you always have to have your own equipment to produce?
No, you go to
they're like, how does that?
You work in an office, so you cannot take out anything from this thing. Like, it's super, it's material from like big companies that they invest millions and millions of dollars.
The actual, like the hardware that
it's
you're working,
all the
it's all
company.
theirs. It's all the company.
Yeah. You cannot have anything yours. Like, I remember it was the first time that Marvel started to make big movies. And I remember, like, when there was a Marvel director coming in, they say, guys, hide all the phones. You're not allowed to have any phones in the rooms or anything, not even USB key or, something. Maybe you have something in your, keychain or something, like hide everything, because they can make a problem to us if they want to, even if you didn't do anything. Because once in a while you hear a story of someone, like, they grab something just because they want to be cool with the friends. And like, oh, I show it. Yeah, exactly. And then,
so are they, like, when you just another question here, when you would come to work, you didn't have to go through a security?
No, that
wasn't that.
No, it's not that big of a deal. You just pass the badge and everything. But the security is pretty good. But sometimes you hear a story about people like, oh, someone came in, stole a couple of monitors, like, walked out because we just pretended to work there, like, like. So there is security, but sometimes there is no security.
So at the same time, it's a company, but you also have your own equipment too.
At home, I was like keeping, like, every night I was like coming back from work after 8-10 hours, 12, whatever of work. I was sitting down, I say, okay, what can I work with and make another piece of my demo reel? Because eventually, like, now, like, skipping forwards a decade or more, like, I don't need to do that anymore because I work on so many projects. But back then, I was like, okay, that's my demo reel. I feel that I missed something. I feel that I missed something that I can add. So in the nights, I was going back home, working there, like, pretty much until 3 a.m., working and trying to make another piece. There could be an addiction, like something that I can add to my CV, to my demo reel. And the good thing is, like, when you enter in this world or you make movies, after the first movie, it's a back check already. Like, okay, you did a movie, so you know how to make movies, so you can get another chance to make another movie. And when you get 2, then you get 3, then you get 4. It's easier and easier progressively. And that doesn't mean that you know how to work on movies, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you make a movie, you did a movie, so you can make another one.
Okay,
and that's good.
So you're still in London.
Yeah.
How long were you in London for?
Total 2 years.
2 years.
I did, I think 3 or 4 months at the end. I went to Guildford, which is south of London, to work on a video game. Like, it was pretty much, like, it was a big deal back then. Like, it was a game called Until Dawn.
Okay.
It was a horror game. I had fun because it was my first horror project. So, like, to do jump scares and these kind of things.
Were you a gamer? Are you a gamer?
I used to be a gamer a lot. Now I don't have much time anymore, but like, yeah.
Like, so you go and you do and everything that you've explained so far here is perpetuating itself forward.
Yeah, it's like, that's my goal, was like, I want to go and make big movies. For as much I was working the same project as the US, Hollywood, for me, like, it's not the same thing. So then after those 2 years, I came back to Italy once again because I wanted to stay close to my family and everything. But I got the same experience. Like, I got progressively sad, more like I wasn't the same person. Because for me, it was like, no. So I got the chance to go back to London. I say, okay, let me go back to London. okay, I got a job. I did Star Trek for like 3 months. It was a super short contract. And I say, yeah, sure. I don't want to stay in Italy anymore. Let's take it. Halfway through the contract, I got a call from New Zealand. It was like a big company. Like there's only one company. A company in New Zealand called Wētā Digital. They did Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
With Peter Jackson and everything. I got a call. And they saw my work. I don't remember how they saw it. And I got like a job offer. I said, you want to come down? I said, sure. I don't know why. Like I don't know anyone over. Like literally, I don't know anyone in that hemisphere. Like
so you're on a you're on a plane heading to what, Auckland or where?
In Wellington.
Wellington.
Yeah. It's a super nice thing because like since that time, like I always had to pay for everything. They pay me my flight,
your airfare, and everything.
They pay my flight. It was a nice flight. They pay for my hotel. They gave me a car. Like, like I remember landing in Wellington. They gave, to drive in this side of the road because they drive on the other side. I said, no, well, you need to learn now.
So now you're like, this is real now.
This is a big deal. Like I remember sitting down there and these people that work in this company, they actually made Lord of the Rings. Like these people that make this kind of movie that I saw in like high school. And a good thing that, circling back in my life, do you remember my teacher, Japanese teacher? Mm-hmm. He was working in that company. So I remember like checking in the map, like where he was sitting down. And I remember like after the first week, I just went there next to his office, like next to his desk. And I say, you don't remember me, but I do remember you. And they say, look at me like, and I say, do you remember like what we did like was 10 years ago? And I say, wow, that's you. Like, I say, it was so good because I was working with, of course, not at the same level because it's a legend and I'm nobody still. And the last one hired in the company.
But still.
But it's like, yeah, this feels real. Like all these people are legends and like I'm here with them. And I remember like it was such a difference from whatever I've lived. It's a company that, like the beauty of New Zealand, the company especially, is they grew up in their own environment. So they have their own way of working, their own mentality is totally different from whatever I lived. And it was like being at home. They have like couches, they have, mini golf, ping pong. They have like all this, the kitchen, you can go and cook if you want to. Like it was, thinking about this now is like, yeah, they just want you to stay there and work
long. That's exactly it. Yeah, a ping pong table. And
exactly. Like 5 minutes at ping pong. Stay here until 10 p.m.
Yeah.
But it was good. I had to work on great projects, like super high quality. These people are like all legends, and they're like, I had to learn so much in this experience.
So what projects were you working on?
I got hired to work on Planet of the Apes, the third
Planet
one.
of the Apes.
Yeah, it's called War of the Planet of the Apes, something like that. But when I arrived, there was a bit of delay, so I worked on another movie with Luc Besson. It was like Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, something like that. It was a sci-fi movie. It was pretty good. I got to meet.
Edwin's nodding his head here because he knows all the stuff we're talking about. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I get to work like it was so chill that I remember like one morning going to the, you arrive early 7 a.m. at the office and making myself a sandwich for breakfast or whatever. And it was this guy in front of me at the table, kitchen table. I looked down and say, hey, it's going. Like, we should chat a bit. And I say, oh, I never saw this guy before. And took my sandwich. I was still sleeping, the pillow mark in my face and everything. I go back to my desk, working a bit. And then like after a couple of hours, we did this big meeting. And I say, we sat down and say, okay, today we have the director in room, and I look up, it's the guy from the rec. Luc Besson. It was super nice guy, super chill. If we had, to chat a bit about the project we were making, and it was so good. It's like it's the first time that actually I saw the different director, but the first time that I interacted with one, one to one, and it was good. It was very, very it felt different for me, and just getting in this world more and more and more. So my New Zealand time lasted like a couple of years.
So you're down there for 2 years?
Yeah.
A couple of years?
Yeah. It was beautiful. New Zealand is amazing. It's such a beautiful place. Like people are so nice. Everyone's so nice. And I had a very, very good time. I made very, very good friends. They were still in touch nowadays. And I wish I could visit them more often, but it's,
that's
the end of
quite a hike.
Yeah.
So from when you're in New Zealand, you're doing you're at the show now.
Yeah, but the funny thing is I was in New Zealand working for probably one of the best company in the world, and my mind was like, but it's still
More.
yes. Like, and I was like, there must be something like, and I was still making my reel, and once in a while, like Sandy, because I would like at that point you start to receive job offer because you're pretty much past the tipping point. So you're like, okay, gonna come work with me, whatever. Like you get job offer from everywhere at that point because you get experience for get all the visa in the world. Like you can work in every country because you have the experience now. Before then, like the problem for me to go to the US when I was young is because like either you need a master's degrees, you need to be a genius, which I wasn't, and didn't go to university at all. I started to work at 19, so there was not even university to do animation.
All of this stuff that you've gotten, we're in New Zealand right now, but everything that you've done, you just said, I want to be.
Yeah.
And you
just like head down and work. Like I don't care about what people.
And so, okay, because I've saved the questions here. I want you to continue on because I have some more questions.
Okay, like I just.
So you're in New Zealand and everything that you've done, there's no. I'll ask the question here: is there a school to go to?
Nowadays, yes. Yeah, nowadays, yeah, there's plenty of schools. Oh. One of the best schools is in Vancouver here.
Okay.
I remember like when I was 19, there was this Vancouver film school here. They used to make very good work. Like the students, they used to go there, they make pretty amazing stuff, and I was just so fascinated. Like, and that's the first time I heard about Vancouver, like in my life. But it was super expensive for me. Like coming from Europe, going to Vancouver to live at 3 years to this master was like unthinkable.
So you're going along. You're in New Zealand. You start to get other offers.
Yeah. Then a guy that I met there moved to Vancouver.
Okay.
A year before I came, and we stay in contact a little bit. And one day he say, "Hey, they are looking for people here. You wanna come?" Like something like that, and say, "Well, maybe we can chat about it." Like an interview and everything with these people. It was for Industrial Light and Magic. It was for one of the companies that I visited when I was 19. They opened in Vancouver as well. After San Francisco, there was Vancouver now. So I did this interview, and I remember I got the job offer, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know where. Like I know where Canada is, I know where Vancouver is, but I never saw a picture of Vancouver. I know. Yeah, let's do it. I quit the job there.
From New Zealand.
Yeah, I quit from New Zealand, and they fly me to Vancouver. I arrived here. I remember arriving like.
What month?
It was the 1st of April. Okay. It was 3 degrees, 2018.
Okay.
3 degrees outside. I came, remember, I left when it was like in short, like it was summertime. It was shorts, flip-flops, south of the world back then is like, the tail end of the summer. So it's really nice weather. I arrived here. I was like, what did I do? Like, I was in the jacket like this. And I remember the beauty of New Zealand, like Wellington is on the coast. So I remember driving in the morning and you see dolphins, like some once in a while you're driving. So beautiful. Everything is so beautiful. Like it's
like a fairy tale.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale. Then I went to Vancouver, like, oh, it's a big city. There are no dolphins. Like it's cold. What they do? But then I end up like the company was amazing. Like I learned so much. I got hired to do Aquaman. And then I did Aladdin as well. Aladdin, sorry.
Okay.
I did this couple of projects and a bit of Captain Marvel I did, but it was nice. It was beautiful. I loved the company. I loved everything. And
so
and I arrived to Canada.
All of these you say, are these all individual contract positions?
Yeah.
Are they, so everything that you're doing, you're not
permanent. Never permanent.
It's just,
that's also me. I always look for new opportunity. I never like to be on a long-term contract because for me that was like
death.
That's yes. I always hate that. Like I always hate to have like, okay, well, like you're gonna be here for like 6-10 years, whatever. Like no, like I need to be afraid of what's happening next. I need to be okay. I have a budget to live until whatever. In 1 year or 6 months, after 3 months, I need to find something to do because there's no more money.
So when you're taking the projects, like for instance, the studio that you're what's the name of the company here in Vancouver?
Industrial Light and Magic.
Industrial Light and Magic. You're working on that one project. Are you already, like, when you're working on that one project, are you already thinking?
It depends. Yeah. Usually, like, a lot of people are stressed about this. Is a problem with the industry. A lot of people are stressed about this, and I understand that. But for me, it was like, yeah, I'm getting another, like that's another chip of my pile of experience that I can use to get a better job. Like, not a better job, but like working on
something more
better, like something different. Like
yeah.
at this point, like working for Wētā and Industrial Light and Magic was like, that's the best of the game. Not because I'm that good, but like you work for big names and you have the curriculum for do whatever you want. So I remember like, working with these companies and like in the same, like you're still receiving at this point calls and emails like, hey, we have a project starting in 6 months. You want to come in? So like, I'm not worried at the time to find that job. And I stayed in Vancouver for 1 year with this company. Then like there was a bit of low, like they didn't have many projects to work on. So they had to get rid of the people. And since I was the last one, they don't get rid of the good ones. They get rid of me. And I got a job offer in Montreal. And I say, I've never been to Montreal. Let's go.
Okay.
So I moved the family to Montreal. We stayed there a couple of years. And
what were you doing in Montreal?
Working for another company. I did Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. What was that? Okay.
It's a movie with Harrison Ford.
Ford.
Is pretty much with a dog all the time. The dog is fake.
Okay.
So I did dog. But it was nice. Like it was my experience. Like I think that was the first experience to be leading a project. So I was like, it was a team with 100 people and I had to lead a bunch of them with like a sequence and everything. So for me, it was fun. Like it was a step further in my career. And that was right before COVID happened. So like it was a bit uncertainty with the work and everything. So they had to cut short a lot of work, a lot of jobs and everything. So I hopped on another company to work on Black Widow for a few months.
Okay.
And then COVID happened, Canada shut off completely, especially Montreal shut off. Like there was no work. People didn't know they could work from home or doing anything. So especially at this level, like you need a lot of permission to work from home. Like they don't allow that. So that contract finished. I stayed 3 months without doing anything, and then got a phone call from the company that I'm still currently working with, which is Scanline. They got acquired by Netflix. So pretty much now it's Netflix. And been working with them since 2019.
So you moved back. You moved back from Montreal.
I'm still in Montreal at that time.
Okay.
Then I moved back to Vancouver in late 2020, and since then
You've been here.
Yeah, didn't move. Like it's my life, my house here, my everything. I still don't have a permanent contract.
So what's it? So what's the name of the company that you're with, that you're doing the work for now here in Vancouver?
Scanline.
Scanline.
I think they are changing name now. Like they're rebranding a bit because the acquisition made
by Netflix.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna call themselves Netflix, but they're gonna be something
else. And so and you're still project by project though?
Yeah. But at this point, I'm happy because the last couple of years I've been on and off with work for personal reasons, and I enjoy it because I get called for a project. If I like it, I say, yep, let's do it. So work a few months and then I jump off. And
so you're really like, you really are a hired gun.
Yeah, I am. And I love like, to be like that.
You're just, and you're like, and I'll go back to the you're not, like there's no union, there's no, it's like,
no. They tried to do that, but sadly, this is a worldwide industry. No, sadly, likely, there's people from all over the world and companies in all over the world. So like the companies we work for, they are not in a good position because they outbid each other all the time. So you cannot pretend too much for them because they cannot either afford it, or they need to increase the prices, or then they're going to lose projects. And you know that if you're not going to be Canada, it's going to be London. If you're not going to be London, it's going to be India. It's going to be India. It's going to be New Zealand. There's so many different companies that they do the work pretty much at the same level now.
And it's ultra competitive.
It's ultra competitive, and you want to be unionized, so you're going to increase costs. And for as much as good it is, and it's needed, because it is needed, for my own opinion, I'm as you mentioned, I'm a hard gun. I don't care. But like for most of the people I see, there are like a lot of stress, a lot of like a lot of work hours, like you do a lot of overtimes, you do a lot of like, sometimes you don't get vacations, you don't get much stuff, but that's a life, like you get to work.
So every project that you're taking, are you literally signing a contract?
Yeah.
And you, so like you, since the beginning that you began in this industry, everything that you've done has involved signing a contract.
Yeah.
And you sign a contract. Are you just the one looking at it, or do you?
Yeah, for sure.
Go, okay.
Yeah, but like, imagine like signing a contract that come from Disney. What power do you have to say? Yeah, can you change it? They're gonna say, yeah, let's pass it over to the other 50 people behind you.
Yes. What do you want?
Exactly. That's what you get. Like, but, and the other thing is like, there is a bunch of young artists now that they are very good. They are better than you. They are faster than you. They are younger than you. And they are cheaper than you. That they are ready to take your job. And that's a thing I remember, like when I was 19, one guy that was working at Pixar, I think, say something like that. Like, yeah, you think you're at the top, and then someone younger arrive, and it is better than you. And it's like, oh, you're not at the top anymore. So everything finished like this.
Would you consider that, you can agree or disagree with this statement? Are you at a point in your career right now where you stop looking over your shoulder?
No, you always look.
You're always looking.
You need always to look because also you learn. Like it's a constant learning. Like maybe someone brought a new tool or someone found a new way to create something. They say, oh, this is pretty interesting. Like, how did you come out with this idea? Like, can we learn? Can we do it together? It's the difficult about this job that every project comes with a different set of difficulties. So maybe you work in a project. I work on Planet of the Apes, just monkeys jumping around. So I need to heavy creature, like
I love the way you just say, oh, I'm working on Planet of the Apes. So these are just a bunch of monkeys jumping around.
But that's what it is, it is. And then you got hired to doing Aquaman, and there are guys floating around. They need to be weightless, but still need to be feeling strong, and powerful, but they are weightless in water. So like, it's a total different game changer for everything. Like whatever you learn or whatever you got used to do in the last whatever time is like worth nothing now because you need to be floated. You need to learn. Now, is there a better way to do these? Like, is someone maybe working on the project for a bit longer that made a tool to make more believable what you're doing? Because at the end of the day, what we are doing, especially with visual effects movies, is like it needs to be like not noticeable. Like
it's got to look real.
Yeah, exactly. So like sometimes you just do a part of the body of an actor. So he doesn't need to feel disconnected or there's not part of like the actor, or like you're doing a monster or a fish or something that it needs to be feeling like that. Like if you're doing Godzilla, doesn't exist anything in that scale, but it needs to feel real. Like it's a super heavy monster that is doing something. And people are used to see people moving, like even if you don't pay attention, if someone starts to float or like jump in a weird way, you notice right away.
Yeah,
even if you're not in the industry or like you're not like in that thing, like someone behave in a different way, you're like, and that breaks the magic of the movies, if you want to call it like that. So whatever we do is invisible, needs to be invisible for as much as,
as realistic as you can possibly make it.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, sadly, there is like time constraints, so you have to rework the same things over and over and over and over and over again, and that's cut the quality or cut all the things because it's timing. Like still, the release date is still the same.
So you're still currently you do animation, but you also you invest in companies too.
Yeah, like I remember when I was 29, 30, I was like just arrived to Canada. I remember working down at 10, 11 p.m. after work. It was a long day of work, working this, working around. I don't want to do these many hours for like my life was so much. Like there must be something else that I can do that like to increase my something else that I can do in my life, because artistic wise I feel happy, but I feel I can do more. So I start to like invest in the stock markets and say, okay, well, how can I be involved in other companies without being involved in other companies? So I started investing in the stock market. I studied that, and it was 2018, 19, before the COVID crash, everything. And I got to learn. I study accounting. I study, how to read financial
statements
and everything like that. I got to learn from my own mistakes. I got to burn a lot of my money. And till to a point that I'm like, okay, I got the game, so I'm playing the game with my own rules. And then I got the opportunity to start to do angel investing. So I moved into the private equity space, and this is my focus at the moment. Mainly focus. I'm trying to get involved more in the company because it's like a stock market where you can put your hands on. Like you have a company, you can help them doing something. And that's what is fascinating to me, is like my next step. So I'm trying to play this both role. Like
so you're still in the animation.
Yes, because I'm still an artist at core, so I cannot stay away for too long from this.
That's your passion.
Yeah, exactly. And it's me. Like I still love to do.
Well, your facial expressions say it all. Like you're very passionate. That's
anyway, you cannot do this work if you're not passionate. Like it's gonna consume your soul. Like
eat you.
It's gonna eat you alive. Like
so that's what would your if somebody is like you followed a very unconventional path.
Yeah,
in the animation,
like in all the aspects of my life, I think
very unconventional. But if you were to give advice to somebody that was like a young person that is like I'm like I said this before, I'm kind of I always self-deprecate by calling myself a Luddite sometimes because I couldn't even imagine what an okay, there's 2D animation, there's 3D animation. I don't, and I know how to turn on a computer. I'm not a gamer. I'm not, but we do have one thing in common. You started golfing.
Yeah.
But okay, we talk about that later. But if you were to advise someone that's young that is interested in animation, in doing what you do, what would be your first response to that?
You need to learn from people. Like a thing that I like that for me was the right timing was COVID, because everyone got to work from home and I got to detach from the office life. But after 12 years of office life, so being late with your colleagues, constantly learning, chatting, like how did you do this, like for me that's very formative. And after COVID I got to work from home, so I'm pretty much alone all the time, and I don't mind, because if I were to call someone, I'll call someone to chit chat, but I have my group of friends, my group of people, then I know that they know something that we can help each other. But if you're young, you need to stay in contact with people. Like you need to have that energy that I tried when I went to Pixar when I was 19, like this you need the feeling to work with legends and be able to work like at their desk and say, hey, what did you do? Show me, like, can you show me? I have 10 minutes to tell me what,
And are they in the industry? Are they is it like, well, not every, it's competitive. So I'll ask you this question: is it, if I could draw an analogy to like in sports, I want you to be good, but I don't want you to be better than me. Okay, like I'll help you as much as I possibly can. Is there that, like, is there any of that where you?
I think that's can be a general rule, I think, for me, because like most of the people that I met in my career, they are happy to help, like happy to show what they do. But if you're afraid of people that steal your job, is not up to them, is up to you.
Okay.
Because you're not.
There you go.
Yeah, you need to keep improving in every aspect of your life. I think, like whatever job you do, even if you make coffee, and like there is always a better way to make coffee, more artistic, more nice. Like
that's right.
Whatever it is,
or the smile on your face.
Exactly, the way you treat clients, like whatever. That's up to you. If you stop learning, then you're still in a point, and you're waiting for someone to pass you. So, like, if someone had to start now, or get to learn as fast as possible the software, and then put yourself to work for any company to learn from some people to get better and better and better, because you get connection, you get good friends that they might go work in another company, and they can tell you like, hey, they are looking for someone that you fit pretty well.
Do you pretty much now, though, like to do what you did? It sounds unique. Do you pretty much have to go to school now, or is it?
You can do it you can do it your own. Like a degree in this industry, unless you don't do a
You can be honest. A
software
degree is worth shit.
It-
Like you could say
it depends, like, because some people that do technical, like programming and stuff, like they might be useful. But if you do any other things, if you're like a good artist, that you have a good eye and you can show it, that you can do that, no need. I never got asked. Like the only way that I see someone asking for a degree, if you had to request a visa from a country.
Okay.
If I had to go work to Canada, I had to show what can I do.
Uh-huh.
And
But basically, your CV is your credentials.
yeah, exactly.
constantly.
Yeah, I
That's
worked
what it
like
is.
15 years, 16 years in movies. That's my my CV.
There it is.
Like I can do that.
So you're giving a, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you're giving a if you're interested in it, show some passion,
Exactly.
start making contacts, reaching out to people, and prepare to
Learn from
keep
other
your eyes
people.
open, your ears open, and ask questions.
Yeah, but that can be general rule for every
Everything.
life. But
That's
yeah,
right, be curious.
yeah, be curious and be like passionate about what you're doing. If you want to do that, like do it. Like there are ways to shortcut. Like if you have a good family with good money, you can go in pretty high school that they put you in contact with a company. So there's a bit of a shortcut. But I'm the proof that you can do that with few $1,000 workshop.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago.
Well, you made the when we met a little while ago, and one of the first comments you made is like a kid from Italy, a little town in Italy,
Yeah.
and look where you are now.
Yeah, but
And what you're doing.
I remember like my parents were very supportive with me always. They always say, well, do whatever you want in your life. And I really appreciate that. But I remember the look of a lot of people when I say, hey, I want to go and make movies in Hollywood. And I see people say,
Okay,
sure.
good luck with that.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
I'll see you next year when you come back here and, do whatever you say that you wouldn't do. That's for me is always being fuel. I remember like one time I was studying in a train. I was sitting next to a woman. She was curious about what I was doing in a computer. It was like 3D. It was not that much a common thing to do on a train,
Yeah.
And she looked at me and say, what are you doing? Well, I'm studying this because I want to go and make movies. And he say, why are you losing time with that? Like, find a normal job and stop wasting your life.
Really?
Yes. Like, I really hope like one day I will meet again that woman. Saying, you were right. But
It's say, look at me now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's a common thing that I always like in my life, that I found people that say like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Like, you're not going to go anywhere doing that thing. It's like, yeah, this means you're going the right path, in your life.
Well, I can tell you. I'll tell you this. We've been talking here for, it's been over an hour. It's an hour now.
Yeah.
And it's actually when we met, there was a couple of, you're a very, very interesting and exciting person to talk to.
Thanks.
You are. No, I mean that. And when you agreed to do this, I was, because I'm curious. I'm always curious about how, like, I don't know anything. Now I know more about animation, whether or not I can't hurt me knowing about it, right? The things that, when I look, all the things that you've done, the movies that you've been involved in, I was like, holy shit, like, Jesus, and I always use this. In my past, in the publishing end of things, for instance, I was 99.9% of people don't know where their food comes from.
Yeah,
they don't have a clue.
Yeah.
When they're watching Aquaman,
they
have no idea what went into the making of that.
Yeah,
the technology, the people behind the scenes that are making this thing happen.
Yeah,
and that's what is of great interest to me. Always finding out, okay, well, what's the story here? How does this? How do you go about doing? Like, how do you even make that? So worldwide, like, I'll ask a question. Where do the majority of is the animation community is it all over the place, or is there really one central hub?
No, it's all over the it's different cities in the world, but it's pretty concentrated. Like people know each other. Like people because if I had to move from Vancouver, either I might go back to London, I go to New Zealand. Like there are different little spots you can go, but they are always the same. Like it's so you end up working with the same people.
So there's no you don't want to move to LA. Right?
No, not anymore like that.
But you're as close as
Yeah, exactly. I work for literally the same company for was like the colleagues that I was working in Aquaman was the people that I was admiring when I started with the same actually people in the same team. I remember sitting down at the theater. We had a screen that pretty much was a camera to the other theater, so you see the people sitting. So you're pretty much sitting in the next room, so the same people work on the same things, same sequence, same everything. So for me, it was like, yeah, that's it. Good enough is not good to say because it seems like I'm lowering myself, but it's like, yeah, it's the same pretty much. I'm just not in the company just because they are focusing more on hiring in Canada because it's cheaper. They have tax credit and everything, so for them it's cheaper. Otherwise, it would be no difference to go to LA or San Francisco or whatever these companies are.
Okay. Well, listen, Enrico, thank you so much. This has been extremely informational for me, and probably great story.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for coming. I get a kick out of you when you tell me that you live at Whitecap Stadium, and I go we call that BC Place.
Yeah.
But you being Italian guy, it's soccer.
It's a football place. Soccer, it doesn't exist.
You get a kick out of it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's a football stadium.
Enrico, thank you so much for coming out. And before I would ask, this would be the first podcast I've asked people to subscribe. I would love people to subscribe. And I would also shout out to this wouldn't be possible here without Personal Brand Pro AI, as well as the creativelab.ca, which is Edwin here. We've put this podcast together just basically because I want to do what I talk to people that I find interesting. And it's with purpose for no other reason. I hope it's informative. I hope it was good for you.
I was super fun.
And because you're an interesting character, and I wish you all the best. And I'm sure we'll stay in touch because we'll have to talk about golf.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, with that, we'll give it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. You may be asking yourself, what's any of this got to do with me? Absolutely nothing. Until next time.